Opinion, Dave Grohl's shadow over Kurt Cobain, a whispered push in an unrecorded era. Kurt Cobain's death in April 1994 is a wound that never fully healed for rock fans. Officially a suicide, the Nirvana frontman's shotgun exit at 27 birthed endless theories, most pointing fingers at Courtney Love. But I've got a different suspect. Dave Grohl, the drummer who went from Nirvana's backbeat to Foo Fighters frontman with suspicious speed. What if Grohl didn't just benefit from Cobain's death? What if he quietly egged him on, whispering things like, "Just do it, Kurt. End your suffering, our suffering. You're killing us all." In an era before text messages, emails, or recorded phone calls could pin him down, such words would vanish into the ether, leaving no trace. Today, we'd have receipts. Back then, Grohl could have said anything and we'd never know. Let's explore this theory, weaving in modern parallels where digital trails have exposed similar manipulations. Picture the scene, 1994, no smartphones, no cloud backups. Communication was analog, face-to-face, landlines, scribbled notes. If Grohl leaned into Cobain during a late-night jam session or a tense band meeting muttering, "You're dragging us all down, man, just end it," there'd be no record. Cobain was fragile, battling heroin, depression, and the weight of fame. Grohl, stuck in his shadow, might have seen an opening. Nirvana was Kurt's band, his voice, his mythos. Grohl was a cog, albeit a vital one, and rumors swirled that Cobain was rethinking the lineup, maybe even eyeing a solo path. If Grohl sensed his gig was on the line, those whispered prods could have been his play, pushing Cobain toward a breaking point, knowing a collapse would free him to seize the spotlight. And seize it he did, launching Foo Fighters months later, his debut album practically ready to roll. Contrast that with Courtney Love. Her love for Cobain, chaotic as it was, shone through her actions, wearing his flannel, howling her grief, keeping his memory alive. She had no clear musical empire to gain. Hole was already on its own trajectory. Grohl, though? He went from sideman to rock god, and his near silence on Cobain's death in the years after feels off. He barely mourned publicly, instead channeling his energy into a new band while the world grieved. That pivot's too slick, too fast, unless he'd been planning it, maybe even nudging fate along. Fast forward to Studio 666, the 2022 Foo Fighters flick where Grohl plays a possessed rock star, murdering his bandmates for a demonic solo career. It's billed as campy fun, but the premise, sacrificing others for fame, hits too close to home. Did Grohl write this as a sly confession, a nod to how he climbed over Cobain's corpse to stardom? Art often masks truth, and musicians have a history of spilling secrets in creative ways. Papa Roach's Getting Away with Murder oozes guilt, Jacoby Shaddix's raw delivery hinting at personal demons. Immortal Technique's Dance with the Devil, a gut punch of a song, claims to recount a real crime, rape and murder too vivid to dismiss as pure fiction. Rappers like Gucci Mane and Bobby Shmurda have even faced legal heat when lyrics doubled as evidence. Grohl's movie could be his version, a boast disguised as a joke. Now, let's ground this in today's world, where technology traps such manipulations. In 2018, a Michigan teen, Conrad Roy III, died by suicide after his girlfriend Michelle Carter sent texts like, "You just need to do it, and it's painless." She was convicted of involuntary manslaughter, her digital fingerprints damning her. In 2021, a UK case saw Alexander Lewis Ranwell jailed after a friend's suicide, linked to messages urging, "End it. You're a burden." These modern examples show how people exploit vulnerability, often with fatal results. Back in 1994, Grohl could have said the same to Cobain, "You're killing us all, Kurt," and walked away clean. No texts, no voicemails, just his word against a dead man's silence. Another case, the 2014 suicide of 12-year-old Rebecca Sedgwick, driven by cyberbullying from peers who messaged, "Why don't you just die?" Two girls faced charges, their texts a smoking gun. Imagine Grohl in '94, no digital trail, leaning on Cobain's despair with similar venom. Cobain's journals reveal his torment, self-loathing, band tensions, exhaustion. A trusted bandmate's voice, dripping with frustration, could have been the final shove. And when Cobain pulled the trigger, Grohl was ready. Foo Fighters' first album dropped in '95, like he'd been waiting in the wings. Grohl's nice guy image, beer in hand, grinning with fans, makes this hard to swallow. But that charm could be a shield, Courtney wore her messiness. Grohl played it smooth, letting speculation swirl while he built a legacy. His memoir, The Storyteller, finally touched on Cobain, but only decades later, on his terms, another win for a man who's rarely lost. Without hard proof, this stays a hunch. But the pieces fit: motive, fame, opportunity, Cobain's fragility, and a postscript, Studio 666, that feels like a taunt. In a pre-digital age, Grohl could have whispered Cobain into the grave and walked away. Today we'd have the texts. Back then, we just have the silence and his triumph by Scott Young, aka Synfamous Gamer.